Hello again, I'm William Stewart, co-founder of Teleos. Welcome to this new verse-by-verse study on the book of Philippians. I'm glad you're here. I hope you'll enjoy it. This book, written by the Apostle Paul to those Christians in Philippi, which is in the northern part of Greece, that Paul first visited on his second missionary journey in the early 50s AD and wrote this letter afterwards. Of course, the precise date is not known, but probably early mid 50s after the visit, and certainly not after 60 AD. I think Paul really demonstrates, his love for the Philippians and following up with them after his visit there and their conversions to Christianity. And it shows a nice attitude towards the Christian life and God while we are here on earth. I think is a good example for all of us. And I think as you'll study this book with me, as we both learn that how we view life and heaven and our service to others will be impactful to you and to me also. So let's do the first two verses today. In chapter 1, this is really the introduction, as true with all of Paul's letters. He goes, Paul and Timothy. So he doesn't say he's an apostle. He usually uses this term, I think, with people that he's really trying to teach strongly or maybe admonish strongly. So he calls himself a servant instead of an apostle. Very interesting. And Timothy, his young disciple, who would ultimately become the bishop or head of the church in Ephesus, he addresses him as his partner here as well. Silas is also along the trip. Timothy first was introduced to Paul on the second missionary journey in Asia Minor. So servants of Jesus Christ, to all the saints, otherwise Christians. Okay, these aren't exceptional Christians. The word agios here means holy ones in the original Greek, and is just really anybody who's holy is a person who's been forgiven by Christ's death on the cross through faith alone in his death and resurrection. So that's the Holy One. In Jesus Christ, so we're forgiven in Jesus Christ, which are in Philippi, with the bishops and deacons. Otherwise, the bishops and deacons are the heads of the church, the bishops being the elders over the deacons. Verse 2, grace to you and peace. So grace in the original Greek is charis, unmerited favor, generally related to salvation, but it could be used in a sense of power or favor in the Christian walk. Peace is a peace of mind, peace between man and man, God and man, and as well, and also between nations. Very general word, much like the word in English for peace. So he's wishing him grace and peace. This could be a greeting, otherwise grace to the Greeks, how they said hi, and peace and how the Israelites said hi. We're not quite sure. It could be a wish, that a desire that they would know grace and peace in their personal life and their relationship with Jesus Christ. I probably lean that way, but I could be wrong. Maybe Paul is directly conferring actively to them this type of blessing because he's an apostle. I don't favor that, but again, it's possible. This is his greeting to all churches, and there's probably a greeting salutation aspect to it, but also certainly I think not certainly, but I would think also a desire that they have these two characteristics in their Christian life from God. So the grace and peace that they would receive from God the Father. Father here is important. That is a term of the New Testament. God is our Father. For a true born again by faith Christian, we are the sons and daughters of God. We're in the family, adopted. And so that familial relationship of a caring God that also can punish, not the death, not the perdition, but as a father would for a child that he loves. See first half of Hebrews 12. And this is a privilege. We can also go to our Father in prayer with confidence in our relationship. This is a privilege that Old Testament believers did not appear to have. God does not address himself as a father to individual Israelites in the Old Testament. And from this grace and peace is also our Lord Jesus Christ. Interesting, the word Lord in the Hebrew in the Old Testament, Adon, is now, and which was addressed to Yahweh, God the Father, or Adonai, or excuse me, God, the head of the Godhead in the Old Testament. Now this word in the Greek, Lord, Kyrios, is addressed to Jesus Christ about 90% of the time in the New Testament. So Lord becomes an address to Christ as a master, or somebody who's over us, who heads the church. I think this is why he receives that term Lord, because he's heading a church of which a born-again Christian belongs to this body. And Christ is directing us and using us to do his will on a day-to-day basis. Okay, interesting stuff. Even in the introduction is something for us to learn. Thanks for being with me today. I'll look forward to seeing you next time.